My name is Angela and welcome to Natangela's Cooking Channel. Today I'm going to make a recipe called Crustless apple pie. It's made with a crumb topping instead of your typical pie crust. This is a very easy recipe for people that do not like to bother with pie crust or just have trouble with pie crust. It's very delicious and there's not a lot of work involved in it. So we're going to start by peeling 8 apples, and as you can see I have these apples peeled. Now after you peel the apples, you're going to want to cover them with a dish which keeps the air off of them. Keeping the air off the apples helps prevent them from turning brown. And so it's a very good tip. So in a small bowl, this glass bowl, you're going to need a half a cup of sugar. Don't level the ingredients, okay, because you just don't level them, they just taste better. You're going to need a quarter cup of all-purpose unbleached flour, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a half a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, an eighth of a teaspoon of salt, and 8 apples. So this is your ingredients for your apple filling. Okay, now I'm back and I want to show you how to slice the apples. Okay, as you can see I have 6 apples already sliced, but I want to show you how to slice them. It's very important that you slice them all the same size, going from up to down instead of around like that. So you just slice the rest of them, make sure that they're pretty much the same size and the same thickness. And then we'll move on to the next step. The reason why you want the apples to be the same size is because you don't want like thinner slices to overcook in the oven and burn to where you're going to have some not cooked as much, some overcooked. That's why it's important to get the same size, and it looks, pretty much like this. Now you want to take your dry ingredients and you want to mix this in with your apples real good using a cake spatula. Get that all nice in here. Mix it up really well. Just make sure you stir it real well because the sugars tend to sink to the bottom, and you want to get the apples with a nice coating, a really, really good coating of the sugar cinnamon mixture. Okay. Now, to give it a very good flavor, this is just optional. Oops. See how you got to really, really stir and stir for a good 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, now to give it a little extra kick, you want to put just a teeny bit of butter in the mixture. It melts in the apples and gives it just a superb taste. You don't have to if you don't want to. I like to. It's just really good, but it's not mandatory. Okay, the next thing you want to do is you want to take your dish and cover your apples, and you want to take it and put it in the refrigerator while you're making your crumb topping. What this does is it keeps your apples cold. It helps in preventing the browning. And so now we're going to make the crumb topping. And I'm going to list all the ingredients in the description box, so don't worry about it. The first thing you're going to need is 1 cup of sifted flour. And I got this recipe out of a newspaper with a crumb topping. And actually, it's the first time I'm trying this recipe, so I'm hoping it turns out well. The second thing you're going to need is a 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of sugar. So with this, I'm going to level the sugar. Now for people that are bakers out here, you guys, it's very important to level your ingredients. Use a knife like this with a straight line and level it off. It makes a big difference. Plus 2 tablespoons of sugar. See how it's not level? So in order to get the correct amount of sugar in the mixture, that's why you gotta level it. Okay. 5 tablespoons of butter. 5. So we'll take this butter here, and I'm going to cut it up. So that I can blend it with my pastry blender. Okay, so you want to cut this up a little bit so it blends real nice. And you just kind of stir it into the dry mixture with your knife here. And 1½ teaspoons of cinnamon. So we're going to do half. See how it's nice and level? Of course, you just scoop it into here like this. This is what I do. I scoop it into here, and then I level it off to get the correct amount of ingredients that the recipe's calling for. A pinch of salt. 1 second here. salt. Now when they call for a pinch of salt, it's usually just like, I just take like the real teeny, smallest, which is 1/4 tablespoon, and I just like put like a pinch in there and just throw it in there. Don't use a whole 1/4 tablespoon. More like an eighth of a teaspoon, sorry. Is equivalent to a pinch of salt, an eighth of a teaspoon. Okay, and now it's calling for a drop of vanilla. So I got my vanilla here, so a drop would be about an eighth, just a drop, see? Drop of vanilla. Okay, and now you want to use your pastry blender, and you want to blend this up real good in here. I'm going to put a little bit more vanilla because the ingredients look a bit dry. So I don't think I used enough vanilla. I think I'm going to add just like a dash of water. See, because this, if your dry ingredients do not form a crumb topping and it looks very floury, it's not going to sit well. It's starting to look much better. Okay. I'm going to put this over in here so I can show you what this looks like. You see how it looks very much like crumbs, almost like small peas? Okay, that's the way it's supposed to look. You can't have it looking powdery. If it looks powdery, it's not going to sit well on your pastry. So I added water to this. You know. So as you can see this here, you can see the crumb topping. Hopefully it turns out good. So I would say to use about a 1/4 cup of water in this mixture, which this recipe does not explain. This is just totally experimental. Now you want to take this butter, okay, you want to take this butter and you want to line this baking dish with the butter real good. You want to really grease this generously, all around the sides, all around here. Like so. Make sure you get all everywhere. because otherwise it's going to stick to the glass and it's not going to. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the apples, okay, and by this time they're pretty much marinated real nice in the mixture. And we're going to put this in this baking dish. Spread it around here. Okay. But before I put this in the oven, I want to tell you guys to make sure you preheat your oven to 425 degrees. Okay? And you cook it at 425 degrees for about 20 minutes. Covered. And now you want to take this and you want to sprinkle this on top of your apples to get the crumb mixture. Cover everything here. And you just lightly cover, make sure you get every spot. This is like your crumb topping here. Okay, and now we want to so that the apples can cook in there pretty good without top burning. It seals it. Okay, now our apple crisp has been cooking for 45 minutes and we're going to take it out of the oven. I already removed the foil off of it to check it, but when you take it out, you're going to remove the foil that covered it and it's going to look like this. And what you want to do now is you want to add some melted butter to the top like this, about a half a stick. Just glaze it on top of your mixture here. And then you want to put it back in the oven with no cover on top, just as it is. Just put it back in the oven. And it's going to be on 350 degrees at this point. You're going to reset your oven from 450 It cooked for 450. When you take it out, you put your butter on it, put it back in the oven, lower the heat to 350, and you're going to cook it for another 15 minutes. And this is going to give you that golden brown, delicious coating. Okay. Now the pie is ready to come out of the oven. It's been baking for 15 minutes on 350 degrees, uncovered. And this is your crustless apple crumb pie dessert. See you next time.